psychedelic mushrooms, I'm on another mission. Miss me with that bitchin', no pot to pissin'.
Before Brooklyn's FLATBUSH Zombies went from underground heroes to mainstream movers with their debut LP, peaking at number 2 on the US R&B and Rap charts.
Don't fuck with this shit.
Yeah. Before the trio worked with their longtime idol RZA, then with ASAP Mob, Joey Badass, Action Bronson, and Danny Brown.
Seaweed float, must be from that weed smoke. I Chinese, so we smoke that sour.
Before releasing a new track, Babel, to mark the 1-year anniversary of their debut album 3001, A Laced Odyssey.
What's up with you? What's up with you? What's up with you? What's up with you?
Before they took their Beast Coast movement global, selling out shows from London to Japan.
You see me in the streets, I'm broke, always broke.
The sound engineer came in here was like, your chain is clanking on the mic, my guy. You're not so broke.
For years, the FLATBUSH trio were just 3 pals who spent their days watching Dragon Ball Z and Night of the Living Dead at sleepovers. When they got older, they would pass their time causing havoc in their FLATBUSH Brooklyn neighborhood. Now, high school, it didn't really suit these boys, but they did find a love for psychedelic drugs, and this experimentation totally shifted their perspective and opened their eyes to what they could accomplish through music. The 3 joined forces and started creating a new kind of East Coast sound. The group name plays homage to the Brooklyn neighborhood they hail from. As for the Zombies part, well, they've watched a whole lot of Return of the Living Dead. What's going on, guys? My name is Marko, documenting the life and career of the FLATBUSH Zombies prior to fame, here for you on Before They're Famous. Now, you guys have long been requesting this video. In the past, we've done bio videos on Joey Badass and ASAP Yams. Be sure to check those out, and as always, let me know who's next in the comments down below. We'll never run out of people, for real.
I like to research strange like skin disorders and deformities and mutations and
There's porn in there too.
oh yeah, there's porn in there.
Porn in there for sure.
Erick Elliot, aka Ark, is the oldest of the group and was born on August 12, 1988. Dimitri Sims, aka Meechy, and Antonio Lewis, aka Zombie Juice, they were both born in 1990, Meechy on December 27th and Juice on July 8th of the same year. All 3 have Jamaican roots, which gave them a sense of belonging growing up in FLATBUSH, Brooklyn, where the population is 80% black or African American, with a growing influx of immigrants coming from the Caribbean. The 3 boys came from different family dynamics. Juice was raised by his grandparents, his mother had passed away, and he never met his father. Erick's parents, they were together, and his mother, well, she was blind due to renal failure. As for Meechy, well, I couldn't figure out anything about his parents, but I did find this.
I used to steal my grandfather's weed.
The 3 boys grew up in lower middle class families despite not having a ton of cash. It seems they had a happy childhood. FLATBUSH Brooklyn is a place that often had block parties in the 90s, and Erick's dad would open up the fire hydrant illegally on super hot days so the kids could cool off and have some fun. Ark and Meechy lived on the same block on FLATBUSH Ave, and they've known each other since they were 4. Juice met Meechy in the 4th grade, and the 2 would hang out at school. It wasn't until high school that Erick and Juice would start hanging out on the regular. Each of the 3 boys became obsessed with music early on. Meech cites Biggie, Busta Rhymes, Jay, Too Short, and Jimi Hendrix as his biggest influences. Juice is a huge fan of Snoop Dogg and Biggie, whom he even rocks a tattoo of. Also Eazy-E, Mac Dre, Thiz Nation, and as for Ark, well, his music tastes are a little more diverse, citing Portishead, Coldplay, Rick James, Etta James, Slick Rick, Eric B, Rakim, amongst others. And as a trio, well, there's a few other people that they've also been influenced by, including Joe Tex, Yellow Man, Stan Getz, R. Kelly, and the Grateful Dead. Ark was the first to start actually making his own music. His older brother forced him to memorize Wu-Tang's classic, Protect Your Neck, and once that was done, he started writing his own raps. Then his mother picked up for him an MV-8000 Roland Beatmaker, and he would toy around with it for years before he even knew what he was doing. Besides a love for music, they shared other interests. They loved wrestling, zombie movies, and Japanese anime. I mean, take a look at their album covers, and it's pretty clear they were total geeks for this stuff. They also like to get in trouble blowing up mice by sticking firecrackers in their butts and throwing cheeseburgers at their neighbor's window. Who throws away a cheeseburger?
Check this out, man. I got these burgers, man. They some double cheeseburgers. Nigga, I just ate.
The more time they spent together, they realized they had much deeper connections, with both Meechy and Erick having struggled with depression and suicidal thoughts. The boys all attended different high schools. Ark attended Midwood High School and Pacific High. Meech was enrolled at Medgar Evers High, and Juice, Well, I don't know where Juice went to school, but he stated in an interview that was next to central booking. Tough crowd. Attending different schools didn't stop the boys from hanging out. In fact, they would hang out so much that they stopped going to school. The boys would pass the time smoking weed while watching films like Evil Dead, They Live, Return of the Living Dead, Menace to Society, and A Clockwork Orange. Films that would later play a huge role in shaping their artistic styles. Perhaps the reason why they were so into film was because there wasn't a lot of music coming out that the boys were into. That's where the motivation came from for them to start making their own songs for them and their friends to listen to while smoking some weed.
Hip hop is dead, zombies for prayers.
In 2010, Meechy started freestyling over Erick's beats, then Juice decided to take a break from weed and he got bored, so he started writing his own rhymes. Erick was quick to come up with new beats and record his boys' work. All of a sudden, they were a trio getting together on the regular to produce some music. Meanwhile, well, the guys, they were working dead-end jobs.
I worked at Foot Locker for like 2 years. This shit was the worst, but it was the best.
Erick was working as a college marketing rep for Sony Music, creating press kits and coding databases for the label. Somewhere on this timeline, Juice fathered a son, and this responsibility gave him purpose to push things forwards with their career in music. They also began experimenting with different psychedelic drugs like LSD and mushrooms, along with their friends, the Underachievers. A few mushroom trips later, the trio were starting to have a different view of the world. The boys started to identify themselves as Indigo Children, a new age spiritual group that possessed superhuman powers of creativity, empathy, and even telepathy. On top of all this, Meechy said the experience made him more open-minded and it totally killed his ego. Their first performance was at a club, 307 Waterloo in 2012, but it was the video for Thug Waffle where they celebrated two things they've always loved, weed and waffles, that went viral.
Yeah.
Almost overnight, the boys had tons of demand for new music, so they got to work on their first mixtape, Death and Reincarnation Under God's Supervision, or Drugs for short. It wasn't long before their underground presence leaked up to the mainstream, and they were making appearances on tracks with ASAP Mob, Joey Badass. Meanwhile, their old pals, the Underachievers, had also began to make a name for themselves, so naturally the two groups would work together.
One man's insanity's another man's treasure, nigga.
Stop trying to be Jesus, try and be better.
Finally, in 2016, FBZ released their debut album with the Underachievers, titled Clockwork Indigo, which received critical and commercial success. As for the rest of the story, well, you know the story because this is before they're famous. My name is Michael McCredden, and we make all sorts of celebrity bios here for you on this channel. We've done a bunch in the past, like XXXTentacion, whose name I still can't pronounce. Be sure to browse around, hit subscribe, I'll see you guys in the next video. Go!
Man, I got these cheeseburgers, man.
I don't want any cheeseburgers.
Please, man. I suck your dick.
Ew.